Welcome to Jhankar Gyan Studio. Let's explore and learn together. Join us on this journey.
Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're going to look at something that's honestly super cute, but also incredibly fascinating from a cognitive science perspective. We are deconstructing the cognitive magic of early childhood vowel education. Think back to when you were a kid, or just think about the toddlers in your life right now. How exactly do they learn those core building blocks of language? A, E, I, O, and U. Well, we're going to look at the beautifully structured, brilliantly disguised educational psychology that makes these five little letters actually stick in a developing brain. Okay, let's dive right into this. Why does learning A, E, I, O, U always seem to require a magic wand, a circus, or a train? Seriously, have you ever noticed this? If you turn on literally any piece of early childhood media, the vowels are almost never just written on a boring chalkboard. No, they're glowing, they're flying around, they're riding inside train cars, or they're quite literally performing magic tricks. So today, we're unraveling this central mystery. We're going to explore exactly why this highly imaginative, specific pattern exists across virtually all educational media, and why it is absolutely the secret sauce to early literacy. Consider this your very own train ticket for our learning journey today. We'll start off with a magical vowel trend, then move into character-driven adventures, multi-sensory phonics learning, classic phonics anchors, and finally, how all of this ties together in unlocking early literacy. All aboard! All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the magical vowel trend. What's just so amazing here is how entirely universal this whole magical framing really is. It doesn't matter what platform you're on or what year a piece of content was produced, creators and educators have just universally agreed that vowels require a sprinkle of pixie dust. For this explainer, we analyzed a research report that looked at 5 distinct educational sources. And this wasn't just some narrow slice of media either. These 5 sources spanned wildly different platforms. We're talking quick-hit Facebook Reels like The Magical Vowel Story, long-form animated YouTube videos, those high-energy phonics songs that inevitably get stuck in every parent's head, and even premium retail audiobooks from Barnes & Noble. But despite targeting slightly different age groups and using completely different mediums, every single one of these 5 sources uniquely framed vowel learning as a magical adventure. So the crucial point is that this magic isn't just random. Our research actually extracted 3 core pedagogical pillars that creators use to build these magical worlds: character-driven adventures, multisensory phonics learning, and classic phonics association. These 3 themes serve as the absolute backbone for how young kids actually process and retain new language. So let's break them down one by one. Moving into Section 2, character-driven adventures. Narrative is just the ultimate tool for driving engagement in easily distracted young minds. We pulled this super adorable story from the Glitterbugs Kids source. And in it, the letters aren't just shapes on a page. No, they are the main characters. The 5 vowels literally go on a walk and find a magical box with 5 locks. To open it, they have to work together sequentially. It's like a giant puzzle. Step 1. The letter A steps up and uses its magic word, apple, to pop the first lock. Step 2. E uses elephant. Step 3, I uses ice cream. Step 4, O uses orange. And finally, Step 5, U uses umbrella to open the last lock and reveal the magic inside. By turning these letters into little heroes on a quest, the child isn't just mindlessly memorizing. They're emotionally invested in seeing that box open up. We see this pop up again in the Todd Learnings and Songs video. Choo-choo! They use this brilliant narrative device of the magic vowel train. In this world, the train travels through different vowel worlds, and it seats its passengers by letter. You literally watch a big red apple roll its way into seat A. This character-driven journey is just a fantastic way to build early vocabulary because the child is actively tracking a logical, story-based progression, right from one train car to the next. Section 3, Multisensory Phonics Learning. Now, magic isn't just a story you hear, right? For a toddler, it's something you hear, see, and feel all at once. Let's map out this high-energy song from a channel called Little Art Tunes. Notice how they don't just pair a vowel with a static object, they actually pair it with an action. So the letter E isn't just an elephant standing there, it's an elephant dancing as the engine cheers. The letter O is an octopus, but it's spinning deep in the sea in bright blue animation. The letter U is a unicorn, but it's flying and glowing with rainbows through the night sky. This is a complete multi-sensory dive. The bright animations grab the visual cortex, the music hooks the auditory systems, and those action words, dancing, spinning, flying, they literally make the words come alive for the child. And I want to stress this combination is highly intentional. Blending music, bright animation, and call and response repetition is actually the preferred pedagogical approach for teaching letter sound association. Look, toddlers just do not learn well from static information. They need their senses activated. By singing, seeing bright colors, and trying to predict the next rhyme, educators are anchoring these totally abstract, meaningless sounds into joyful, highly memorable, sensory-rich experiences. Let's move to and see how this builds into section 4, classic phonics anchors. So we've talked about the magic and the sensory input, but now we really need to look at the anchors. To an early learner, abstract vowels like A, E, I, O, U, well, they're just meaningless squiggles on a page. But when we look at the concrete universal anchors across all our sources, whether it's a YouTube video or a quick Facebook reel, they almost perfectly align. A is always an apple, E is always an elephant, I is usually an igloo or ice cream, O is an octopus or an orange, and U is an umbrella or a unicorn. Even though the creative wrappers change, shifting from trains to magical puzzle boxes, the core anchors never ever change. And there's real educational psychology behind that. It's a concept called letter-object association. Basically, it's the cognitive tool of using consistent, familiar visual objects to help early readers anchor and retrieve new sounds. Think about it. If a child forgets the sound of the letter E, they don't have to search the dark void of their memory for a random sound. They just have to picture that giant gray elephant they saw dancing on a train, and the sound instantly follows. Grounding these abstract concepts into consistent physical objects is exactly how you build a reliable neural pathway for reading. Which brings us to our final theme, Section 5, Unlocking Early Literacy. Let's look at how all these pedagogical concepts are perfectly packaged together for a premium retail experience. And this brilliantly illustrates our point. It's a quote straight from the Barnes & Noble product description for an audiobook called The Magical Vowel Circus. Listen to the specific words the publisher uses here. A joyful, multi-sensory adventure through vowel sounds, imagination, and early literacy. I mean, they are literally advertising the exact pedagogical buzzwords we've been talking about. The creators know exactly what works for cognitive development, and they are putting it front and center for parents. Inside this audiobook, it really acts as the ultimate culmination of all three themes. It has character-driven adventures featuring these playful characters named Mr. A, Miss I, and Mrs. U. It heavily features multi-sensory phonics because these characters aren't just standing there. They're actively spinning, juggling, and singing. And, of course, it uses classic phonics anchors, all wrapped up in a delightful, highly engaging circus bow. It's essentially the perfect storm of early childhood pedagogy. So, what should you take away from this explainer today? Well, it's that magic isn't just a theme, it is a brilliant cognitive tool that makes abstract concepts concrete for early learners. The magic wand, the glowing letters, the singing elephants, they aren't just visual distractions to keep kids quiet. They are the exact mechanisms that make learning possible. They lower the cognitive load, they massively increase engagement, and they turn the incredibly difficult, totally abstract task of reading into a joyful game. I want to leave you with this provocative final thought. We know exactly how to engage a toddler's brain, right? We use story, we use sensory input, we use concrete anchors, and we use wonder. So if we use magic to make vowels unforgettable for kids, how on earth can we apply that exact same wonder and structure to the complex, dry subjects we're forced to learn today as adults? Maybe, just maybe, we all need a little more magic in our learning. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious out there, and I'll catch you next time.
ভিডিওটি ভালো লাগিଥିଲେ চ্যানেলକୁ সবস্ক্রাইব, ফলো, লাইক এবং শেয়ার করন্তু। ধন্যবাদ।